Hey y'all, it's your girl Sia, and I'm back with another video. Y'all, so really quick, I did want to touch base. First off, I hope you guys had an amazing day. Today is Thursday. My day went pretty well. Just very tired mentally from having to deal with people all day, and dealing with data and just using my mind. So I'm real exhausted because like I said, a lot of what I do is knowledge based. And when you're working longer hours because it is, that it's the time of season, it's just pretty draining. And we should have had this kind of season really in February, but we did not have all the players in play, if that makes sense. So my tax season it's actually been really slow, but it's picked up a lot more now because people are kind of rushing for that deadline. And then obviously in Colorado, they're everybody's eligible for a kind of like a stimulus check. It's called the Tabor refund, so everybody gets 800 to 1600 extra dollars that they're able to spend from the state. And so a lot of people are just rushing to get their returns done. Even my personal clientele has picked up tremendously. And so I have been not only doing work for where I work, but also for my personal business. And you guys, I'm exhausted. I've just knocked out about two returns. I've got two more that I want to complete. Let me see. Do I have another return I need to do? Thank God. I don't think I have another return that I'm required to do unless somebody comes in. But I do believe I have at least two more to do before April 15th. And then I've got bookkeeping on top of that. So it's a very busy time for me right now. Been very, working hard, but exhausted in the process. But really quick, I wanted to briefly discuss this minimum wage hike that we're seeing all around the country. It's very interesting because I just found out today that the minimum wage here in Colorado was $18. And then I know California, they just passed something where their minimum wage is $20. And for you guys, listen, I understand that we're all about getting money and all about putting money in our pockets, right? I am one of those people, you guys. I will make it happen, right? Let's put it that way. I love making money. Well, if I didn't have to make money, I don't know if I would be making any, right? But I like making money in the sense that I get to do things with that money, right? So, y'all know, if anybody knows, this is my field when we're talking about finance and stuff like that, at least a sector of it. And so I, was pretty surprised at the reactions that I received in the office, right? So a lot of people are saying, well, it's okay if they raise up minimum wage because if they raise minimum wage, it raises all of our pay. Naturally, they're going to have to increase our wages. And in my mind, you guys, I'm thinking, well, yeah, that's true. And obviously, immediate money is always great. But however, okay, there are some consequences that come with the increase in minimum wage. And again, this is crazy because I remember when I was put on to like Bill Cooper, when I first got in this, like started knowing what was going on and being put on to things. I had someone who I cherished pretty dearly. And she put me on to a book called Behold the Pale Horse. And I was, I believe, 18 at the time, or maybe a little bit older, maybe more like 19, 20. Yeah, around that age. And I remember reading the book and really taking interest in the conspiracy world, I guess. I don't know. I started listening to Alex Jones heavy. That was like my first initial, him and David Icke. And then I ended up writing an article, which was terrible, you guys. But I ended up writing an article for Henry Macau, right? So I was big on a lot of these things very young. Um, and it's just mind blowing that we see a lot of what we were told over the last 10, 15 years really start to become reality. And that is just, I don't know, is kind of freaky, right? So the thing is with minimum wage, right? And just so you guys really understand this, I understand inflation is high, people got to get paid, right? You're barely making enough to pay rent. I don't know what $18 an hour is really going to do for people. Okay. I make well above 18. So I mean, it's a start, but I just feel like every year they raise it just enough so people could barely get by. Because I'm telling you, I feel like I'm barely getting by, right? And not saying that that's the case, obviously, but that's what it feels like. It doesn't feel like I've got extra money to just do whatever I want to do like I used to, right? And so I'm telling you now, $18 an hour, like you're not even making what's necessary to even have an apartment because in these places you have to make two times the rent, right? I'm barely making two. I lie. I probably make a little bit more than two times the rent, but I could probably hit three times, right? If I stay where I'm at now. The average person, though, cannot. Okay. So I don't know what the wage increases are really doing. Okay. Like, I don't know how much of a difference that makes in terms of a person's ability to rent, maybe from a roommate. But like I said, you can find roommates for much cheaper. Like, I'm just saying. So I don't know, right? I don't know what the ideology behind this is because it wouldn't matter if you're making $12 an hour or if you're making 18, you're still not going to be able to afford a place. That's how it's set up. If you're low income, and I mean, I don't know because I'm not a low income, so I don't know how low income housing and stuff like that works, right? I know that I make a lot more, but my salary is just below, I think, what they would consider like if I wanted to go get affordable housing, right? I make just enough for it's two people, I think. I could be wrong, something like that, right? So if I make any more and I don't see, again, all of my stuff is through my business. So when it comes, because I have a salary, right? And I just so y'all understand, a salary shows stability no matter what. Okay. I don't care how much you don't like your job, how much you're not getting paid. A salary shows stability. And so with that salary, okay, I have been able to get away, not really get away with, but because I've only reported my salary incomes, I don't feel like my business is really like anybody's business. Does that make sense? It's none of their concern, right? So if I'm telling you I make this amount of money, then obviously I qualify within the threshold. So I've been able to kind of make my money a little bit, and do it that way so that I'm just below the I think affordable housing quote or rating or whatever. So that's me at the income that I make, okay? And I'm closer to 100K than I'm not, okay? So I say that to say it's expensive. Like where I live is super, super expensive. I'm realizing that. And the more and more, what happens is you have inflation, right? And part of inflation, so people understand, is that the dollar, the value of the dollar is crashing. It's declining and it's declining more so than we understand at a more rapid pace than what we've seen before. Okay. So when the dollar declines, inflation gets higher and higher and higher. The more they print, hence the Democrats, the more they print the money, right? The more how can I say this? The faster the value of the money goes down. Okay. At the same time, you guys see what's happening with Bitcoin. You see what's happening with all the current the cryptocurrency realm, right? And now you're seeing Bitcoin rise above what it hasn't been, and God knows, I mean, it hasn't, like, we ain't seen it yet. Does it make sense? So Bitcoin is increasing, and it's no coincidence that at this time it's going up, right? The value of a Bitcoin is increasing by a lot, right? Meanwhile, the dollar's value is declining. Okay. So as you see, so people understand is that now what you see is because of the printing of the money and inflation, right? Everything around us has increased, right? And I do believe that there are good people out there still trying to help the average person as long as they're helping themselves, right? Because I can tell you, I have been blessed and I'm truly grateful for certain things in my life that have helped me to keep going, and people, right, in my life. Um, and I'm talking about now in terms of, like, I got real bills, and I'm just saying, okay? With that being said, when you are raising the minimum wage, what that states is that our economy is not doing the best. So if you have to raise it to $20 an hour, right, in places like California, right, that means, and this is real talk, this is the beginning to the decline of the way in which we're accustomed to living. I really believe that if you guys seen the TV show Squid Games, and how these people, like, to be able to buy like one thing costs hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars, right? It was out something outrageous, right? Even the is it time? I think there's quite a few movies that show something similar where your prices, you'll go try to buy something and it's astronomically more than what we are accustomed to now, right? I do believe that you're going to see Bitcoin continue to increase, right? You see that it's at 66,000. For those of you guys don't know, you can use Bitcoin and coin in real life, okay, to buy real things, right? So imagine a loaf of bread being like $66,000. Like, could you imagine? That's the kind of change I'm talking about. That's what's about to happen. That's what I believe is going to come down the pipeline over the next, what, 10, 20, maybe even 30 years, right? This is why, another thing, in 2020 they were speaking on, really working hard to get out of debt, right? Doing everything that you can do to pay down your debts, hence Squid Games. I mean, y'all seen the storyline if you've seen it, right? But for those of you guys who don't know, in the storyline, these people owed like millions and trillions and trillions. I say millions, I think it was like in the trillions. It was a lot of money that they owed, but it's the time period that they were in. So it's like 100,000 is like $1 trillion type shit, right? So you may owe that much, but it's not that much. And all these people remember the old world versus the new world, right? And they're now having to survive. And I mean, it's a game. They're in this, they get into this game to try to like minimize their debt and pay it all off. But that's how bad it was. The debt was so high that they would much rather sacrifice their life to play a game. I don't think they knew at the time, but shoot, they knew what they was doing over the course of time, right? Sacrifice their life to try to win money. Like, people were joining these games in order to win enough money to pay off all their debt. That's how bad it was. And everybody looked like they were in poverty. Every last one of them. So I really believe that that's where it's going, right? You have a lot of things changing with web3, right, and the metaverse, and all of these things are being created because I feel like they know where we're going to be over the course of the next 20, 10, 20, 30 years, right? So when you have a country, and what I mean by that is y'all just, I really think that there's going to come a time where people are really poor. Like it's not going to look the way it looks now. And there's too many stories that tell something similar. Like, I'm just saying, it is what it is. So I really feel as though people have to stop looking at the immediate, right? Because, and again, I'm not expecting someone who works at McDonald's, for example, right, to really understand the impact and the magnitude of raising the minimum wage. Okay. I'm not even under hell. I don't even see them understanding that the raise and increase in income, right, does not change your overall outcome. It's just not gonna do it. I don't know. Can you buy an apartment in California for $20 an hour? Like, I mean, where? How would you even qualify is the question. That's where maybe you would be able to afford the rent, but with all these stipulations of 2.5 times the rent, right? You got to be making 3 times the rent, right? How, Sway? And then not to incorporate all of your fucking bills, bro. Like, uh, I'm not seeing how that really makes a difference. Now, if you don't have many bills, like I said, I had a roommate, I was throwing them like 500 a month. Cool. But some of these folks are in roommate situations where they're paying full fucking rent. So I just in my mind, I'm like, there's gotta be a better way, but I don't see that this issue when it comes to inflation, I'm not sure that it can be stopped. It's almost like it feels to me like there's a level of lack control over the inflation. Like if it can rise so high to where you're seeing Bitcoin almost hit 100K, yeah, that tells me that if things continue the way that they're going, I don't know that the people who think that they're in control are really going to be that much in control. And this is where you get, I know you guys, if you guys seen the movie Ready Player One, right? And you've got these folks in the VR games and the systems and they got the goggles on, whatever them things are. Listen, I think it's cool as shit, right? But it almost feels like they're ushering, like all of this is about to hit a focal point, right? So like meaning that there's so many things happening, right, that lead up to really one thing, right? And I really feel like it's not a coincidence that VR is becoming such a thing. You've got Facebook, who is now in the metaverse and all that jazz, right? You've got all of these different things going on Web3 and the blockchain, right? You've got all of these jobs moving over to AI, right? You've got robots, right? Real robots, like really out there, like really like ready to do their thing, okay? I just don't feel like all of this stuff is a coincidence, right? You've got inflation at an all-time high. You've got, again, minimum wage being increased in an insane a way, like $20 an hour for McDonald's. Like, how? Like, and then what's so crazy is I was watching a video today where they were saying how they raised the minimum wage, right? And so McDonald's workers, went in and then realized that half of them were like fired, maybe more than that, right? Fired, gone, let go. Now those same people are homeless. I mean, not saying they're homeless. Okay, that's wrong to say. But if they don't find another job soon, they gonna be homeless. And they gonna be back in this little cycle that it seems like they're just wanting to flush people into that pipeline. And what sucks is the young people, they're the ones really having to deal with this. This is why I'm like, kid, it's so important for me to teach my kid how to make money, right? And part of that is starting your own business, right? I don't give a damn what the fuck she does as long as it makes money and it's hers. Because I thought my generation had it bad. You know what I mean? This generation coming up, it's like they don't even stand a chance. If like you're gonna have to be pretty strong to get through some of the shit that's happening. I couldn't imagine if I was working at McDonald's. They tell me I get $20 an hour minimum wage, and then I go in the next day and they fire me and half the staff. That's crazy. But I want y'all to understand something. That's about to become the reality for all these folks that are like, ooh, 18, $20 an hour. Listen, you better hope you work for a good company, because once you hit a certain threshold, hence why you guys see a lot of these immigrants coming in, all right? Because one, they're willing to work for less. And then you got all these like jobs that are saying, listen, or employers that are saying, hey, we can't afford to pay that amount in minimum wage. And it's unfortunate because it's obvious they're striving to destroy the small businesses, right? Meanwhile, your small businesses are the backbone of this country. We are what creates jobs for other people. So you have people in this situation, right? Where now you're starting to see more and more temp agencies pop up, red flag, right? You're starting to see a lot of these everybody's 1099. I've got subcontractors. Why? Right? Because it's better that the tax liability is on the subcontractor than me. Right? So you've got all of these things, and the only what I'm beginning to see is a lot of the companies that issue payroll, they're doing that for the tax advantages. That's it. So the $20 an hour, let me tell y'all get what y'all asked for. People be asking for the shit. They gave it to you. But I just, again, if I had enough money, like if I was at my old roommates, right, and I was still paying $500 a month, right, then $20 an hour, if you're paying that kind of money for rent, that's cool, right? Maybe even 1,000, right? Maybe you could get away with 1,000, but like realistically, in some of these cities, where are you gonna find that kind of rent at? Where? And a lot of y'all be Section 8. No, that ain't it either. So I just want people to understand that what we vote for and what we accept is, it's like a double-edged sword. It's like on one hand, yes, you get immediate relief if you get to keep your job. But when you got small businesses saying, nah, we can't afford that, and or justify that, like, again, realistically, it makes no sense for a person that works at McDonald's to be paid $20 an hour. I'm sorry. Like, you don't do anything that, okay, you do something, but it's like basic fucking work, bro. It's not like you're a professional. I mean, maybe a professional fryer, I don't know. But to me, if you're 40 something years old and you're working at fucking McDonald's, you deserve the lowest of the pay, because it says something about you. In my personal opinion, that tells me that at 40 something years old, you are not, what is it? What is the word that I'm looking for? Your human capital is very low. Your value to the economy and to the workforce is very low. Cause I'm sorry. I mean, unless you're in management or corporate, like what are you doing? Like this is, when we talk about intelligence and we talk about being better than who we were yesterday, I'm sorry, but some of them jobs are for kids. It's like working at the mall at 50, 40. Like, I mean, I get it. That's all you can do, but I as a business owner, right? And I am one, I would not be able to then justify why I would pay you $20 an hour. And see, what y'all got to understand is you've got the age of AI and you've got the age of automation and the age of robots. So once that happens, your little $20 an hour, that's obsolete. Ain't nobody like, bro, you're about to be out of there anyway. That's what people are not understanding. If I can go get me a robot, as a matter of fact, let me tell y'all, my boss did exactly that, bro. The bookkeeping team on where I work, right? There was a whole other bookkeeping team when I first started. And for whatever reason, the bookkeeping team fell apart. People were leaving, stuff like that, right? So instead of rebuilding a whole new bookkeeping team, because one, it's kind of hard to find good bookkeepers, that's number one. But two, these folks got connections in Mexico. So you know what he did? He outsourced half the bookkeeping to Mexico. And one of the benefits of that is that it's cheaper. So understand that people are getting creative and they're finding ways to not have to pay people what people think they're worth but aren't really worth. You know, it's not the business's fault. And this is how business owners are. It's not their fault that inflation is so high. You know what I mean? And I understand both sides. I understand the employee side where it's like, I got to get paid. I got to get paid more than what I'm currently getting paid because I don't make enough to afford to live. But if employees shifted their freaking mindsets, right? And the 40-year-old said, you know what? I'm going to go back to school to get an education, right? I'm going to go get me a trade. I'm going to learn a new skill that can add value to the economy. You would care less about $20 an hour. I haven't had to fight for $20 an hour in a pretty long time. And even when I fought for more, you can always bet your God bottom dollar I was getting it from somewhere else. You see what I'm saying? If I was making $17, $18 an hour, well, I had a whole nother business going on where I was making 30 plus, maybe more, right? A year. So you have to get wise. People have to become wise. People have to stop. Like, you're begging for all these handouts and for other people to be making solutions for you. And you're not even realizing that the solution is within self. It always has been. So if you want to make more money, hence something I had to tell myself, get my head in the game, and I'm proud of myself because I can do that. I've had a lot of practice, right? So the moment I start complaining about money, y'all know my brain starts working. What can I do to make more? Right? I'm wealthy. I'm wealthy. That's why I be telling myself all the time, I am wealthy. I don't know what to tell you. And I'm always, I have to shift from that space of feeling like I don't have nothing and have to remember I got everything. I got everything. I suggest when it comes to money, y'all go listen to Abraham Hicks. That is my girl. Okay. And I know it's Abraham. Y'all, it's a whole story. She channels her husband, or I think he passed away, but she channels her husband and he comes through and talks as Abraham, right? Through Esther, right? And she's always giving this advice about how to manifest, understanding that the universe is always telling you yes, 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 yes. So you guys see me in a period where I was complaining, I was not happy. And again, I'm grateful I got friends that'll put me right back on my path that I need to be on. Like, I know that I'm in the space, like the exact season I'm supposed to be in. I went into this year with, man, I'm gonna make more money than I've made last year, right? I had goals, right? Things that I'm doing to ensure that regardless of what I got going on, regardless of what people think I'm worth, or what I feel like people think I'm worth, right? I'm in control of what I can be in control in. And the only way to do that is to have your own freaking income and or right have a skill set that is of value. I remember I told you guys when I was watching that video and the girl was like, how are you guys able to shop and because people have skill sets. They actually went to school and or they got certified to do what they do so that they can make enough money to live, and then they utilize them same skill sets, right? To invest, right? In themselves and their education. We have gotten away, this country has gotten away from education, being educated individuals. And so part of that, when you start to see that kind of like educational decline, right? In the sense that everybody wants to be a worker, nobody wants to create. You've got tons of the Black community. Let me tell you something. We need small businesses in our communities. The fact that we don't have enough still, even with all these people going back to school and getting their education, that's a problem. So you have a country that, again, it's almost like you got a government that is against small business. That's what it feels like. And then you've got unqualified employees that are asking for more money because they, again, I don't want to say they're all entitled. Maybe we could have said that before, but we all know $12 an hour really ain't getting you by. That's like $7 an hour, you know. No, that ain't like $12 an hour. I don't like that wasn't gonna work 10 years ago. Let a why I don't know. I don't know why people would even think it's working now. But then the main reason why people are wanting their wages to be increased is because the cost of living has, skyrocketed beyond $20 an hour. And I don't mean to scare people, but I'm just like, bro, where can you live with that? Maybe a low income one bedroom. I mean, but how many of those are taken? Like, you know what I mean? That's the trap that they put you in. That's why, so you guys understand why I'm always, when you guys heard me doing them videos about my frustration and the fact that my pay hasn't increased yet, right? The reason why I was upset about those things is because I know that things are coming down the pipeline. Right. So I know that my money has to continue to increase at the rate of inflation. And if the employer is not going to do it, I have to work extra just to make sure it gets done. Right. So my frustration was basically, in a nutshell, is dang, I really don't want to have to work extra hard just to get that extra money so that I can keep myself at at a level that I'm really at or want to be. Right. So understand that it looks to all of us differently, right? I remember when I was used to say, well, how do you make 100K, but you don't have 10 grand in the bank? Well, shit, nah, no. Inflation is for real. So I understand an employee, if you're working, it wouldn't matter if you 40, 16, it wouldn't matter. If I'm well, 16 might matter because if you living at mommy and dad's house, well, then you high. You making good money at that point. But for the 40-year-old that got real bills, that bitch ain't making shit. $20 an hour ain't doing not a damn thing for nobody. Not in this state and not in California, for sure. So, understand that we got to be careful what we ask for, right? The honest that the solution to this would be stop printing fucking money. Stop spending money we don't fucking have. How do you have a country that's trillions of dollars of debt and yet we still printing money and then giving all this money away, but we haven't even every year, don't they have that issue at the state capitol or whatever where they're fighting back and forth because they know we don't have no money? So how is it that we're still able to pass bills where we're giving trillions of dollars to places like Ukraine? Like, are we not? I hate talking because I feel like, you know what? People are waking up, but they're not waking up to the bigger picture. They're not. It's like you wake up over here because you got some migrants in your community, but you're not understanding how it all connects, how all the dots connect. Can you believe you still got people wanting to vote in support for Biden? Like, in my mind, that shit makes no fucking sense. And I be ready. Y'all don't know how many people I have like literally unfollowed because I'm like, I don't even know how you're over here like promoting this guy. I mean, okay, so you hate Trump, but you hate Trump to your detriment? Like, is that real? Like, you ready to die because you hate Trump so much? So you just gonna push go on the suicide button? Like, I just in my mind, I'm like, do y'all not see what the fuck is happening? Like, and I gotta say this for real, y'all. I don't know if these people are racist and that's why they're like so gun ho with Biden despite all the mishaps. I don't know what, like, that's the end. Like, when you're really looking at it from the outside looking in, it's like a white people beef. It's like this side against this side, and nobody knows what. Like, from what I heard today, and I thought it was interesting, somebody said that the Democrats and the Republicans switched, right? So the basically, or not switched, excuse me. The Republicans were the abolitionists of the North, and the racist ass Southerners are the Democrats. And in my mind, I'm like, if that's really true, that's why these people are sticking to the shit like with all they might. They hate Trump so bad. I'm like, bro, why? Trump don't even know who you are. Like, how do you have that much hatred for one fucking man, bro? I thought your mama didn't teach you not to hate, because that only hurts you. It don't hurt him. So, but even if Trump isn't the answer, how the fuck are you still in your right mind? Like, this is what, and I'm sorry for all the curse words because I just don't understand how folks can open their mouth and honestly say at this point in time that they would still vote for Biden. Get the F out of here. Like, that makes no sense. So y'all have to understand all of this shit is fucking connected. It's all connected, and one thing affects the other, the other, the other, the other. The answer is not to increase minimum wage as much as it is to stop the printing of the money and stop giving it away to everybody and their mama but us. The answer is to get an education. People, oh, college ain't. No, I was one of those people and I'm regretting it. There's no way. Because in my mind, I'm like, bro, I could have been well off. Do you know how many young people I know that are like doctors, bro? Like, that are making bank. And I'm sitting here like, fuck, what did I do with the last 10 years of my life? That's why I know the next 20 years better be amazing. I better catch up so quickly. I'm for real. There's women out here that, man, Allah, single, making 200-300K on their own, and it's a lot of them. It's men too. But these people are doctors, they're realtors, like, there are people that really have and add value to the economy. Your tax professionals, your accountants, right? Your scientists. I don't know too many scientists, but y'all get what I'm saying. These are solutions, not begging the government to say, hey, can you pass a minimum wage law? That is lazy. Like, in my mind, I don't want to say it's laziness, but to me, it is. If you're begging for a job to take care of you, bro, like, it kind of is at this point. This economy is crazy, and I understand, again, $20 an hour is a win for everybody, but you know what the people told me? Oh, well, it's their fault they become homeless. It's their fault. Like, that's how people really see it. So y'all need to understand, if you're in a position where you can barely afford your rent, Uber ain't it. I mean, unless you're making thousands of dollars, a week, maybe a couple thousand, 1,000 even a week is, that's really, I mean, I'm not saying that 1,000 a week is gonna get you very far, but that's the target you want to be at. I mean, no offense, I just don't see how you're gonna be able to rent. Like, I don't get it. So, I mean, cool, California got their minimum wage, but it's a temporary fix. It's not a way, it's not a solution. It's a band-aid. And band-aids burst. And as I'm saying, keeping it 1,000 with you as a business owner, if my objective is to get rich and have money in my pocket, I will hire. It's cheaper if I was to hire, let's say, pay a few $1,000s for a robot who can make me 10 times more money than what you're making me. So we have to understand that it's not all about gimme, 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 gimme. It's about what can I do for my community? What can I do for my country? And when you have a group of people that are hell bent on not getting an education, that's the group that's pushing for all this. To be honest, it's the group that is the low income people. And understand, I was there before. I'm not judging y'all, but I also know what it takes to get out of that spot. And increasing the minimum wage ain't the answer. Changing who you're voting for is the answer, right? I just gave y'all like 4 or 5 solutions. And while it may not be something you can do collectively, it's all about self anyway. So go get that education, increase your skill sets and your economic value. Because I'm going to tell you now, if you don't get it in that workplace, you're going to be able to get it on your own as long as you put the work in. So that's all I got to say on the matter, y'all. This minimum wage, I don't understand it. Again, if it was me, and I don't want to seem mean to people, but there's no way I would have raised it. Look, I will put incentives for education. I will find a way. Incentives for people to start a business, stuff like that. But I'm not finna be raising no minimum wage if I was the one in power. We gonna have to figure this out. But raising the minimum wage ain't the answer. It's not. You're harming more people than people really understand. But they finna see. Look, we ain't done. We listen. The next, the our way of life has changed. Well, I say ours. I hope mine changes for the better, y'all. I'm trying to be in one of them houses in the sky, bro. I want to be in a flying car. Wealthy as shit, right? I'm serious. I'll take that position any day. Not saying that money is everything, but I can do things with money. So I'm just saying, we got to do better as people, man, as a country, bro. All these fucking liberals, man, they're at this point, it's got to be something in the water. I don't even know anymore. I don't know. But yeah, let me know what y'all think about, think down in the comments below about the minimum wage hike. Is this reasonable? Does it make like, and I want y'all to really give me some thoughtful answers here, okay? If I'm giving y'all, like, give me something. Don't just say, "Oh, well, it'll change my life," because no, it necessarily will not. We've already, like, I'm sorry. I know what it's like. I could never work for $20 an hour. Like, there's no fucking way, bro. It just you ain't paying me enough. We would have to increase my minimum wage. You know what I mean? So let me know what y'all think down in the comments below. That being said, I'm out. Peace.